Math Game Part 5. I know, can you believe it? Hello everyone, we will continue to develop that math game application. So I promise you we will create a timer in this video, and that we will. So the timer that I was thinking of will be a countdown timer, and that means that it will count down from a specific time to 0. And then when the time is up, it will write on the question text view, sorry, time is up. So let's start without losing any more time. So first, what do we need to do? Define some variables. Now, there is a class in Java that we can use in this game. You thinking what I'm thinking? It is called the countdown timer class. See, Java's great. So I'm going to call this class and create an object from this class, countdown timer, and then I will create a final long container to determine the initial value of time. Private static final long start timer in millis equals 60,000. And why is that? I'm giving the initial value as 60,000 because I want to give the user 1 minute to answer the question, 60 seconds. So you've got to define the time here in milliseconds. In fact, Java works that way. 1 second equals 1,000 milliseconds. So if you want to give the user more or less time, you can change the initial value, but just don't forget that you've got to define the time in milliseconds. For instance, if you want to give the user 30 minutes, you would have to write 30,000 milliseconds. Also, the final value should be in capital letters. This is a rule in Java. You should write final values with capital letters. So then that means I need a Boolean value to determine that the timer is running or not. Boolean timer running. Then I need to create another long value. Long time left in millis equals start time in millis. So I'll use the time left in millis value in the code. For now, I just want it to be equals initial value. After that, I will create another method for the timer, like game continue, public void start timer. And I'll use a countdown timer object inside the start timer method. Timer equals new countdown timer. So when I call the new countdown timer, Android Studio auto-completed the rest of the method. Now there are 2 methods inside this countdown timer. One is the onTick method. So you define a time, such as 1 second, and what we want it to do every second, we will write into this method. So secondly is the onFinish method. So you'll write into this method what you want to do when the time finishes. For instance, you defined 1 minute, you can then write what will happen 1 minute later. So I have to add .start end of the method. Also, countdown timer method takes 2 parameters. First one is initial value. So it'll be time left in millis. It is 60 seconds that we defined above. And the second one is countdown interval value. And I'll write that to be 1,000. So So that means it will count down 1 second by 1 second from 60 seconds to 0, such as 59, 58, 57, etc. Then after that, in the onTick method, I will write time left in millis equals millis until finished. And that means the onTick method will work 60 seconds to finish. Also, the text of the time should change every second, right? So it should update time text every second. So I will call the update method. I will write this method later. We need to pass on to the onFinish method. In the onFinish method, I will write timer running equals false, because when the time is up, the timer should stop, yeah? Okay, so then what happens? I will call the timer stop method. I'm also going to write this method later, because what I want to do now is when the time is finished, the timer should reset. So I will call the reset timer method, and I need to write this method as well. Also, the time text will need to be updated when the time is finished. I'll call the update text method. Now, if the user doesn't answer within this specified period of time, the user's life will be reduced. So user life equals user life minus 1. And also when the time's up, we should tell that to the user, right? So I'm going to write this message to the user in the question text view. Question.setText. Sorry, time is up. All right, so then after that, I will write time running equals true. If it does not go to the onFinish method, the timer running should stay true. Okay, so the timer is now ready. And that's pretty much how timers work. We just need to write red-colored methods to support the timer. And the other methods must also work for the timer to work. So let's write some of the other methods. First, I will write update text, public void update text. And I'll fill in the method later. But secondly, I will write the pause timer method, public void pause timer. And then third, I will write the reset timer method, public void reset timer. So when I create these methods, the red colors are gone. So first I will fill in the update text method. And inside the update text method, I will create an integer. Int second equals time left in millis by 1,000 mod 60. So this will give us the value of the remaining time in seconds, but it's a long value. So I do need to convert this value to integer. Now I will add an int conversion value before this value. All right, so after that, I will write this second integer value on the time text. Now to do this, I'll need to convert this integer value to string. String time left equals string.format locale.getDefault percentage 0 to D second. String.format is to show the time in a specific format. So inside the parentheses, I defined how the format will be displayed. The format will be in 2 digits. So then I will write this string value onto the time text. Time.setText, time left. So now, every second as it ticks along, the text will be updated. All right, so let's jump to the pause timer. So I'm going to pause the timer in this method, right? Timer.cancel and timer running equals false. So this code will pause the timer. And the last method is reset timer. So when the timer is reset, the time left in millis should be equals start timer in millis value. So this will set the timer to 60 seconds again. Now also, the text should be updated, right? So I will call the update text method. Update text. Right, so now the timer's ready. So we need to call the timer methods from somewhere. The best place is into the game continue method. So I will call the start timer method into the game continue method. Also, when the user clicks on the OK button, the timer should stop because the user answered the question, right? So I will call the pause timer method into the OK button click listener method. So the answer is true or false. It doesn't matter. The timer should stop either way. So because of this, I called the pause timer method before the if-else condition. Now also, when the user clicks on the next question button, the timer should reset. So that means I will call reset timer method into the next question button click listener method. So when the user clicks on the next question button, first the timer will reset. Then the start timer method will start up again with the game continue method. So we can run the application now to see if it's working correctly. But before we start her up, I will reduce the time to 10 seconds because, I mean, really, who wants to wait around for 60 seconds every time just to test it? Seconds turn into minutes, turn into hours, weeks, months before you know it. All right, let's just run the application. Okay, so the application's open, and I click on the addition button, and look at that, the timer's running. And when the time's up, it writes, sorry, time is up. When I click on the next question button, the timer started up again. Also, when the time is up, the life, did you see that? Went down from 3 to 2. So yes, that means that the timer is working. Good job. So it looks like we're getting close to finishing the game. Do you feel that? Although it's not quite time to pop the cork on the champagne yet. we still need to develop the results page. So when the user life goes down to 0, the game will finish. And also, we will show the user the score. We're going to do all that and more in the next video. So I want to see you there.